Good morning, everyone. Am I audible? Am I audible? Okay. Okay. So, what were we discussing last class? Can anybody remember? Did we discuss about the this population equivalent, uh, relative stability, all those things? Did we discuss? If somebody can remember, or and did I tell you to study self study about the this sewer appurtenances and all? Did I tell everything, all those things? This part did I tell you to study by yourself? I forgot actually. Okay. Atul Tator said yes. Okay. If I have given you to self study, then it's okay, fine. Then I can start today your treatment part. Okay. So today morning itself I have shared these PDFs with you, okay, in your official this fifth sem group. So CRU, please distribute the materials to your friends, okay. Okay, so this parts you study by yourself and also write down in your copy, okay. So today, okay, one more I need to discuss with. Okay, so I that day I told to study this all this, right? Like the laying of sewers, laying of sewer pipes, and your hydraulic testing of sewers. I told you to self study. Okay, so one more thing is left, that is your about your pumps. Okay, so let me discuss that one quickly with you. Okay. So, in your module, in your this second module itself, there is a topic named as your pumps. Okay, pumps for lifting the sewage. So basically, this chapter, it doesn't need to go in fast. Just you need to know what are the necessities, for providing the pumps for pumping the sewage. What is the necessity, and what are the different types of pumps that are being used for your pumping the sewage? Okay, so basically, your pumping this for the sewage. Why it is necessary? Because it is required to lift the sewage from a lower level, okay, and to a higher level. And that one everybody knows. Okay, that why pumps are needed. Pumps are needed, to pump out or lift the things from a low lying area to a up higher level. Okay, so similarly for your sewage pumping also, your this pump is required to lift the sewage from a lower level to a higher level, okay, in a sewerage system. Okay, so there are like certain circumstances which should be means why sewage have to be lifted. Okay, why sewage have to be lifted by pumps? They are done under following circumstances. Okay, there are certain circumstances. So number one, you see here the sewage from localized low-lying pockets in a city has to be pumped as so as to throw it up into the city's sewer pipes flowing under gravity and running at higher elevations. So the sewage, okay, those are generated at a low-lying city, okay. So those sewage, it has to be pumped and it has to be thrown into a, like a city sewer pipes that are at a higher level and that flows under gravity, okay. So for that reason your pumping is necessary. Then again, when you're like a certain area, it is a very flat area, okay. So what happens in a flat area, that the laying of the sewers, it requires deeper and deeper excavations, okay. So in that circumstances also, like there it is said, or it is advised to lift the sewage at certain intervals, okay. And then after you lift the sewage at certain intervals, and after that you can lay the sewers at your certain reasonable depths below the ground surface, okay. So next is your, like for in a big commercial buildings, what happens, there are basements, okay. So you have to dispose of the sewage from the basements and to the what to the higher level of the basement floor, okay. For those reason also, you have to pump the sewage from the basement of a commercial building, okay, to the street of the higher street that are at a higher level, okay. Now next is your, when the outfall sewer is lower, okay, whenever like the outfall sewer means what, the ultimate end of the pipe or the sewer through which the sewage are coming out, okay. So that is known as your outfall sewer. So whenever the outfall sewer, it is like lower than the level of the treatment plant, so in that case also the sewage, it needs to be pumped up, okay. So and last one is your, like when a sewer, it has to cross a ridge, okay. When it has to cross a ridge, then instead of what, instead of making driving a tunnel through the ridge, so it pumping of sewage, it proves to be more economical, okay. So in that case also, your pumping of sewage is necessary when a sewer, it has to cross a bridge, okay. So these are the certain necessities of when pumping is necessary. So there are different types of pumps also. So you don't need to go in detail. So you just need to know the names, okay. Like there are three types of pumps. Number one is your centrifugal pump. Number two is your reciprocating pump. Number three is your pneumatic ejectors or air pressure pumps. Okay, so these three names you remember, and also what is the necessity of pumping sewage. Okay, so this much if you remember, then it's sufficient for this chapter. Okay. Okay, the next, let's come to the next part of your this one module. That is your treatment of sewage, okay. This is similar like your the treatment that we studied for the raw water engineering part, okay. So here also, like the sewage, before it is being disposed in the river or on any land, okay, the sewage, it has to be treated, okay. It has to be treated and it has to be made safe. So before disposing, that I already told, okay. So like the degree of treatment, okay, how much of treatment is necessary for a sewage, it depends upon what, it depends upon the characteristics of the source of disposal. Clear? So there are like the sewage, it can be treated in the four different processes. So number one is your preliminary treatment, number two is your primary treatment, number three is your secondary or biological treatment, and number four is your complete final treatment. Okay, so first let us see what is your preliminary treatment. So preliminary treatment, basically what it does, the main work of the preliminary treatment is to separate the floating materials. Okay, the floating materials like what? Dead animals, trees, branches of trees, papers, then pieces of rags, woods, and all these things. Okay, so whatever there are big floating materials present in the sewage, so the preliminary treatment it separates the floating materials. Okay, so and also what the heavy settleable inorganic solids. Okay, along with the floating matter it also separates the heavy settleable inorganic solids. Then also after that also it removes the oils and greases. Okay, oils and greases from the sewage, and in the preliminary treatment it is said to remove or reduce the BOD of the wastewater by about 15 to 30%. Okay, so what are the processes used for preliminary treatment? So there are different processes or certain units you can say. So number one is your like screening. Okay, screening is used as we already studied for the raw water engineering also. Okay, so for screening your floating all the floating materials, like just now I told that dead animals or papers or clothes, all these things, those are like keep floating in the sewage, so those are removed by your screening process. Okay, so after your floating materials are being removed, then there is another chamber or another unit that is known as your grid chamber. Okay, so grid chamber, or it is also known as detritus tanks. Okay, grid chamber or detritus tanks, those are used for removing the grids or sands those are present in the sewage. Clear? So grid chambers or detritus tanks. So all these things we will be discussing one by one. Okay, what is the work of each and every unit we have to study one by one. Okay, so grid chambers or detritus tanks, they remove the grit and sands, and for removing the oils and greases from the sewage, which tank is used? Skimming tank is used. Okay, here you can see, let me mark it down, this skimming tank. Okay, it is used for removing the oils and greases. Then screening, it is used for removing the floating papers or every floating materials. Okay, and grit chambers or detritus tanks are used for removing the grits and sands. Clear? This is known as your, the whole thing it is known as your preliminary treatment. Okay, so now next let us come to the primary treatment. So what is primary treatment? The primary treatment, it removes the large suspended organic solids. Okay, so here this treatment, it is basically accomplished by what? Sedimentation in settling basins. Okay, so what it does, that the liquid is written here, you see the liquid effluent from the primary treatment often contains a large amount of suspended organic material and has a high BOD, okay, about 60% of the original. So like the from the primary preliminary treatment, whatever effluent is coming to the primary treatment unit, so that effluent, it consists of very high BOD. Okay, and sometimes this preliminary and primary treatments are classified together, or it is together known as your primary treatment. Okay, it comes under your primary treatment. So the organic like solids which are like separated in the sedimentation tanks, or you can say in the primary treatment tank, so they are like stabilized by your anaerobic decomposition. Okay, or they are incinerated. Okay, so and that residue after incineration or after anaerobic decomposition, that residue, it is used for like landfills or somewhere like soil conditioners. Okay, that residue is used for your landfills. Then comes your secondary treatment. So secondary treatment, it what it does, it involves the further treatment of the like sewage or the effluent that is coming from the primary sedimentation tank. Okay, and this secondary treatment, it is done through what? Biological decomposition of organic matter. Okay, so this biological decomposition of organic matter, it is carried out under your aerobic or anaerobic conditions, both. Okay, and in this biological units, your bacteria, the bacteria is the main thing. So that bacteria will decompose the organic matter, and it further produces your clearer effluents. Okay, so next is your like, okay, then one more thing, like in secondary treatment also we have certain processes, like number one is your filters. Okay, then number two is your aeration tanks, number three is your oxidation cones and aerated lagoons. So all these things we will be discussing one by one in our later classes. Okay, now you just know the names, that filters, oxidation cones and aerated lagoons and aeration tanks. These things, they come under your secondary treatment. Okay, so next is your final treatment. Okay, or it is final or advanced treatment. So this treatment, it is also sometimes known as your tertiary treatment, and what it does, it consists in removing the organic load that is left after the secondary treatment. Okay, it removes the organic load that is after your secondary treatment. Also some types of organic loads are present in the sewage, and the final treatment or the advanced treatment, it removes those organic loads. Okay, and also it kills the pathogenic bacteria that is present. Okay, so these four are the processes of your treatment. Okay, these are the processes for your treatment of sewage, that is your preliminary treatment, primary treatment, secondary treatment, and your complete final treatment. Okay, so now we will first discuss about the screening. Okay, today we will discuss up to screening only, then later classes slowly we will discuss one by one steps. Okay, so this screening, as I already told, this is the first step of your treatment process, or it is, you can say, it is the first operation in the wastewater treatment plant. Okay, so this screening, it is used to remove the large particles of that are floating, and those suspended matter, those are removed. Okay, and like there are, there are set of inclined parallel bars. Okay, and there are certain distances in the channel. So all these things, like you can see the diagram, I will show you the diagram. Okay, so again, let me first show the diagram. So you can see this is a screen, this is a bar screen, you can see. Okay, this is a bar type of screen. So here again, okay, so one more line is important here. You see, like the screens are used to protect the pumps, okay, valves, pipelines, and other appurtenances from damage or clogging by wrecks and large objects. Okay, this is the also work of a screen. Clear? So next is your types of screen. Okay, types of screens. So basically there are three types of screens. Okay, number one is your coarse screen, number two is your medium screen, and number three is your fixed not fine screens. Okay, so these screens, the types of the differences between the screens or the classification of the screens, they are all based on the sizes. Okay, the opening sizes you can see, or the spacing you can see. Okay, so for your like coarse screens, they are also known as reds. Okay, and the spacing here in the coarse screens is about 50 millimeter or more. Okay, and these coarse screens, they collect about 6 liters of solids per million liter of sewage. You see this line, they carry 6 liter of solids per million liter of sewage, and here the screen spacing is your 50 mm. Okay, and in your medium screen, the spacing between the bars is about 6 to 40 mm. Okay, and these screens, they collect how much of sewage? 30 to 90 liters of material per million liter of sewage. Okay, now in under your medium screen, there are again two types of screen. Okay, one is your fixed screen and the other one is your movable screen. So these fixed screens, they are like permanent in, and they are permanent in their position. Okay, nobody can move that fixed screen. But what about the movable screens? So they are stationary in there during their working period. Okay, while they are in operation, so they are fixed, or you can say they are stationary. But after the work is done, it can be lifted up by people, and for cleaning purpose, and also it can be lifted up from its position. Okay, so this is the difference between a fixed screen and a movable screen. So next is your fine screen. So what is a fine screen? It has perforations of 1.5 mm to 3 mm in size. Okay, so the classification is all based upon the sizes. Okay, so now the installation, okay, so here it is 1.5 mm to 3 mm in size. Okay, so but one more thing is that these fine screens, they get clogged very easily. Okay, because since their spacing or their perforations are very small, so what happens, they get clogged very easily, and frequent cleaning of the fine screens are very necessary. Okay, so frequent cleaning is done for your fine screens. So this is all about your screening part. Okay, so today up to here only we will do. So next class we will go to the next treatment process, that is your detritus tank or your this grid chamber we will do. Okay, so let me take the attendance. This part I have I have shared with you the material. Okay, today you just see in your group. Okay, roll number 69. 51.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, 52, 53, 54, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61,
Present, ma'am.
62,
Present, ma'am.
okay, 63,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, 64, 65, 66,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, 67,
Present, ma'am.
okay, 68, 69, 70,
Present, ma'am.
71,
Present.
72, 73, 74,
Present, ma'am.
okay, 75,
Present, ma'am.
okay, 76, 77,
Present, ma'am.
okay, 78, 79, 80, 81,
80.
80,
Present, ma'am. 81.
Yes, ma'am.
okay, 80 present, 81 also present, okay, 82,
Present, ma'am. 82.
okay, 83,
Present, ma'am. 83.
okay, 84,
Present, ma'am.
okay, 85,
Ma'am, 85.
okay, 86,
86.
86, okay, 87,
86 present.
87, 88,
Yes, ma'am. 88 present.
okay, 89, 90,
Present, ma'am. 90.
okay, 91, 92,
Present, ma'am.
okay, 93,
Present, ma'am.
okay, 94,
94 present, ma'am.
94 present, okay, 95,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, 96, 97, 98,
Present, ma'am.
98, okay, 99,
Yes, ma'am.
100,
Yes, ma'am.
101, 102,
Present, ma'am.
okay, 103, 104,
Present.
103 present.
Ma'am, 68.
Okay, 68. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
104, 105, 106, 106,
Present, ma'am.
106. Okay. 107,
Yes, ma'am.
107, 108.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, 109.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, 110.
Present, ma'am.
Triple one, 112, 113, 114, 115,
Yes, ma'am.
115 present. Okay.
Ma'am, 114. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
114. Okay. 116, 117, 118, 119, 120.
Present, ma'am.
Yeah, who is 120 or 119?
119, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. 120 is present, 120 no. No? Okay. So anybody is left out, let me read out the absent ones, okay? Roll number,
Ma'am,
yes?
91, ma'am.
91.
91.
91, okay. Then roll number 52, 52 to 60, nobody is present. 52 to 60, okay. Then 64, 65, then here, this is 72, 73, then roll number 76, 78, 79, 87, 89, 97, 101, 103, 104, 105, 111, 112, 113, 116, 117, 118, 120. These are absent. Okay?
Ma'am, 120
10.
is present.
120 is present.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, 73. Present.
73. Okay. Then 91. Okay, 91 included. Okay then. Motiu Rahman, college. Okay, college, I don't know, but physically from today we are asked to come to college. Okay, you will be notified later. You will be asked to come to college. Okay. Okay then. Uh, let's meet in our next class. Okay, it is on Friday.